Na hao watu wa Machachari wote nini inaendelea?
Najua umemiss Julus, yenye babako ananipatia kwenda huko.
Kama haujaona hiyo video ya Tyler Mbaya aka Bahati wa Machachari akisokota msede.
Ask your mama. She finna tell ya.
Many of us grew up watching shows like Junior and Machachari. They were entertaining, a must watch. The kids you see here were once famous, really famous. Everyone knew their faces. They were on television, in magazines, and some even appeared in advertisements. But today, things are totally different. The road from being a childhood star to becoming an adult hasn't been easy for most of them. Some went broke, others simply disappeared. Some completely lost their minds, and others got caught up in scandals, shocking scandals. Take Tyler Mbaya or Baha for example. His nude video was shared on Telegram, and yes, some people still have it on their phones. Like your, let me not mention it. I'll admit it, I've watched the video, but for research purposes only. And if you haven't, please don't. You might think that Baha was ashamed, but he wasn't. If anything, it looked like he was proud.
Bro, acha nikwambie siku hizi mimi utembea hivi nikiwa zileza. Yaani mama mboga ameonanjuanga.
In this video, we look at 5 child stars from Kenya whose life changed in ways that many didn't expect. Remember to subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, thanks for subscribing. Let's get into the story. In the early 2010s, no Kenyan show had more influence than Machachari. I was there and I know, not as part of the cast but as a fan. I used to watch every single episode, just like every kid back then, and even their parents. Machachari was mainly a kids show that focused on real-life issues faced by Kenyan children, such as poverty and peer pressure. It featured a balance of rich kids and, well, can I say poor kids? It aired for about 13 years, with the main cast being Baha, Govi, Stella, Millie, Almasi, and Joy. It was a good show if you ask me. If you never watched it, I'm sorry. But if you did, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the show was cancelled in October 2019 after there was public pressure. You know, people were complaining that the actors were getting old, especially Fatso. And Machachari, remember, was a kids show. Even today, people are still curious about what happened to the actors after the show ended. A lot has happened, but one of the cast members who has gone through the most is Tyler Mbaya, or Baha, once the biggest child actor in the country. Now, Baha joined Machachari when he was just 6 years old. He played the stubborn but fun big brother to Govi. Many kids loved Baha and looked up to him, and many parents I know also found him likable. Personally, if you ask me who the most famous character was, I'd say Baha. You might have your own choice, and that's fine. Now, his popularity extended beyond television, earning him a massive following on the online space and even getting brand ambassador deals. But becoming famous so young meant he grew up with everyone watching and judging him. Many expected Baha to grow into an even bigger superstar, and well, he did, but on Telegram. And it's even crazier because it all started with his girlfriend. In January 2023, Baha and his now ex-girlfriend Georgina Jenga found themselves in a public scandal when intimate videos of the girlfriend were shared online. She later clarified that the content was old and recorded when he was just 17, and believed it was leaked by a bitter ex-boyfriend who was upset about her relationship with Baha. The ex did something terrible, and at the very least he could have blurred some parts. But it's nothing to joke about, and I believe it affected both of them in some way. Even today, if you try to Google Georgina Jenga on the internet, let's try it. These are the results. Georgina Njenga video, Georgina Njenga trending video, Georgina Njenga Telegram. It's not the best Google results. Many people would leave or even condemn Georgina, but Baha was different. He came to her defense and said that he was not ready to leave Georgina at any cost, while also vowing to take legal action against that evil person who leaked that video. But even this sacrifice did not save the relationship, because the romance between Baha and Georgina faced challenges, and in 2023 they separated. For many young people, this was the power couple. You know, fans followed their pranks, their dates, and their everyday life. That's why that breakup was unexpected. But when you hear what happened next, maybe it was bound to happen. Now, still in that year that they broke up, Baha was exposed by a Kenyan woman named Nas Judy, who shared screenshots showing him begging for money and allegedly scamming funds. The leaked DMs showed Baha asking for cash, claiming that he was evicted, but it was a lie.
I know this is out of the blues, but I'm coming to you as a small bro. You know, I'm an orphan and I don't have anyone to turn to. So he goes on and on kuniambia like ali present like a very sad story venye like he's an orphan na venye akona mtoi mdogo and he's being evicted and he just need like $450 and then kuna brands zenye zijamlipa na hiyo ndio pesa alikuwa anategemea ndio aweze ku meet needs zake.
His girlfriend Georgina also confirmed that Baha had a gambling problem, revealing that she had been paying most of their bills. Okay. And Baha admitted he was battling a gambling addiction, saying his finances were crippled and that he sought fast money through betting. He clarified that these funds were not for basic needs, which Georgina covered, but for luxuries in life and to meet society's expectations. He also confessed that his addiction made him cut off friends and become less social. Now, this story sparked a national debate about gambling addiction among young people. On a positive note, Baha announced that he was taking a break from social media to focus on therapy and personal growth, calling it baby steps towards recovery. He even used his platform to warn the young people against irresponsible gambling, calling it a disease.
Just like I've said, I know betting is a disease. Najua mavijana wengi huku nje tunaekelea. Mavijana too, just like myself. There are certain reasons that push you to do it, maybe when it becomes now problematic.
But that gambling scandal was nothing compared to what came next. Just like Georgina, Baha's nude video was leaked online. No one saw it coming, by the way. Even today, it remains shocking. I watched the video and remember, for research purposes only. I hope you guys understand. Surprisingly, Baha later claimed the leak actually boosted his self-confidence.
Bro, acha nikwambie siku hizi mimi utembea hivi nikiwa zile za. Yaani mama mboga amenanjuanga. But like bro, in a come now. Bro, there's some self-confidence that I have nowadays that it's so, bro, it's unmatched.
Despite that confidence, during a podcast with Prince Newton, Baha admitted that there's one thing that still bothers him, his daughter. He knows that one day he'll have to have that difficult conversation with her.
Mimi kitu naweza kuambia ni, yani miss chita like it doesn't bother me at all.
But let's say,
the only point that it does is I know that in future I'm gonna have a conversation with my kid. She finna come asking.
Baha's been trying to rebuild, and in this year, he reunited with Georgina on Showmax's dating show called Take Me Home. He clarified that it wasn't about rekindling their romance, but about patching things up for the sake of co-parenting and giving Georgina closure about their past. And recently he hasn't featured in any major productions or films, perhaps for personal reasons. And the last big headline he made this year was that nude video. I'm not happy about it. I don't think anyone is, and we can joke about it, but it's not funny. The prayer is that Baha becomes a better person and turns his life around. Maybe become that big actor or celebrity we all expected. The next kid was also part of Machachari. Ian Nene, famously known as Almasi, was another prominent actor. In the show, he played a somewhat rich kid who was kind and loving to his friends from the slums, and his character was portrayed as an innocent boy. But years later, that innocent boy shocked many people, as Almasi transformed from this to this. Now, after leaving Machachari, he moved to the UK, where he continued his education. He attended the University of Kent and studied marketing, and eventually graduated.
I'm born and raised in Kenya, and I decided to come and study and do my degree in marketing at the University of Kent in Canterbury.
The life of Almasi changed completely in university when he found out that his mother had stage 4 breast cancer. This painful news, together with his own struggles, made him deeply question the meaning of life and why people suffer.
I got home and then my mom sat me down and she was like, Ian, I have something to tell you. I went to hospital and the doctors kind of had a scan and they checked me out and they told me about cancer. And then she was like, it was breast cancer, but then it's reached stage 4, so it's moved to my lungs. And I was like, oh my God. And I got so depressed because it would just hit me out of nowhere. I'm a mama's boy. My mom like raised me really like single-handedly. My father was never really around in my life.
Unhappy with the usual religious answers, he found peace and what he called absolute wisdom at an Indian temple in Nairobi. Almasi left Christianity and became a Hindu, following a Vishu tradition. He said his Catholic upbringing didn't give him the clear answers he was looking for about spirituality.
I was born and raised a Catholic, and I'd gone to the church and I'd asked, hey, why do bad things happen to good people? And I didn't really get an answer, but I was always just informed that, you have faith and you believe. And for some people that might be satisfactory, just have faith in whatever life brings at you. But I needed a little bit more, like what's the science behind this? Is there science behind our existence?
His mother was a devoted Catholic, so at first, she wasn't happy at all. She thought she was being brainwashed and even cut off financial support, hoping Almasi would change his mind. But as time went on, she saw something different. Her son was living a clean life, no drugs, no bad habits. So slowly, she began to appreciate that maybe, just maybe, this was actually a good decision.
After a while, she got the hang of it. She appreciated the fact that, I took a bit more of a positive life change. I wasn't, inspired by going to the club all the time and getting drunk. We're hearing so many stories about some of my friends who, got lost in the whirlwind of intoxication, having to go to rehab and all these things. So a part of her felt, maybe this was a good decision you made, and I'm going to support you because I'm your mom and I love you.
Almasi spent several years living in a monastery, a building in which monks live and worship. He became a spiritual leader and even said that this man, by the name Bhaktivedanta, made him a better person. Now, Bhaktivedanta was an Indian religious leader and author who in 1965 founded the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, commonly known as the Hare Krishna movement. I won't go into the details because I know nothing about that movement. But even with all his spiritual and personal growth, Almasi hasn't been free from criticism. Social media is full of negative comments about his looks, and especially about the way he dresses. Now, this is Almasi. I don't really know what was happening here, but focus on the dressing. Might sound judgmental, but is this how men dress nowadays? Maybe it's fashion, and I'm not aware. But come on, what kind of fashion? Nose rings, showing your underwear, wearing a crop top, can even dress like this in front of your father. Maybe if your dad is this guy. And it's not just me. The internet had a lot to say. In the comments, some people were questioning his sexuality because of his unusual style, while others went as far as accusing him of being mentally ill. This video, which he posted last year, I guess, shows him wearing huge nose rings, striking a pose that clearly triggered a lot of people, and the comment section went wild. Babako anafurahia vitu unafanya buda, or is your father happy with what you're doing? Effects the weed. As a mother, I still don't understand, or am I old, or where do we go wrong as parents? Is it too much to ask a child to be who you gave them birth to? A man for a man and a woman for a woman? Is it backwardness or selfish? I feel ish whatever she's saying there. I have boys, but heavens let them remain men as their father and marry someone's daughter out there. But here's the thing, Almasi does not care. Every time someone tries to bash his clothes, his underwear, or even his spirituality, he claps back. And his replies aren't always polite.
Najua umemiss mjulus yenye babako ananipatia kwenda huko. Mtu hawezi amini hizo pink lips. Ulamba mjulus yako sura mbaya. Why are you here?
And he's very clear about it. He does not follow society rules. He'll wear whatever he wants, do whatever he wants, and nobody is going to tell Almasi otherwise. People will talk badly about him, but at the end of the day, he's going to live his life. Now, Almasi is still in the UK according to his Instagram and is clearly living a happy life. Sometimes he twerks, sometimes he dances like in this video. It might not be your version of happiness. Maybe this is your version of happiness because you grew up in Kariobangi. Anyway, Machachari also had twins, Mudhuri and Mudhure. These two also played a big part in making the show entertaining. Their father in the show was a man called Chalo, who had a very heavy Meru accent. But he was funny and also played a big part in making the show entertaining. And according to reports, Chalo is now living in the US, and whatever he's doing there, no one knows. Anyway, the twins joined Machachari around 2012 after the producers were pleased with their performances in the auditions. From then on, they kept appearing on the show, and it was always fun to watch these twins. They had great chemistry, they were good actors, and their future looked bright. But when Machachari was cancelled, that's when their problems began. In 2022, during this interview with Mungai Eve, the twins revealed that after Machachari came to an end, they ended up broke and had to do odd jobs, including working as chalk boys at pool games. It's not something you'd expect from child stars, but that was their reality. And honestly, it's better than stealing.
Mi huenda yani pool, kwa pool, mi hucheza pool. Mi huenda pool table, naenda kuandika hiyo chalk, nachukua hiyo chalk yani. Niandike tu nipate hizo that tip of, zenye tu nitaingiza hata kama nikiso kipunch, niko fiti.
During this time, they were living in a place called Mwihoko and really tried to cope with the challenges, but it was hard. Having no money made everything worse, especially as a celebrity.
Si regret lakini the issue ni na kuwaga kuna kitu mbaya kama kuwa famous na una do. Unaona? Ukienda kila pale like before asewa kusikize, they need to see the man. Unaona, the money talks, man.
In an interview with Tuko, they asked their fans for financial support and any acting jobs, though I'm not sure if they got it. According to the twins, people even stopped respecting them and they just ignored the negativity because there was nothing they could do.
Like si kila mtu anakujanga hapo karibu na wewe anakutakia, unaona. Saa wengi wanakuchomea jina yani waliisha nini na backing na nyuonyeshagi hivyo, unaonyeshaga tu ni sawa.
And you might be wondering, so what happened to the money they earned from Machachari? Well, they said the money covered a lot of their needs, including education, house rent, and food. Aside from their menial jobs, Mudure also did script writing, but he didn't earn any money from it. All in all, they remained hopeful and wanted to get back on screen. They had plans to start another show with their former Machachari friends, but COVID-19 came and that never happened. Until now, they haven't featured in any major shows or movies. Instead, they switched to music and formed a group called Clan Kaliko.
Okay, tunajita Clan Kaliko kwa band as a band. Ya tuko wanne kwa hiyo band. Ya tunaimba sasa siku hizi tunaingilia muziki siku hizi
mko kwa music.
The next actor's story takes a shocking turn because this actor was caught stealing. Suleiman Sharif, better known as Baken, was a big name on the KTN show called Junior. The show was loved by many, had a talented young cast and unforgettable characters like Junior and Toti. Baken was the most entertaining, if again you ask me, and many people were hoping that he would turn out to be even bigger in the acting world. But no one saw what was coming next. Now, after Junior came to an end, Baken disappeared from social media. He didn't feature in any major production or movie, but in 2022, he allegedly did something that people still talk about today. In that year, there was a viral video that allegedly showed him confessing to a theft. He was accused of stealing 3 phones and money. He's alleged to have withdrawn 124,000 Kenyan shillings from one of the stolen phones. According to reports, he was severely beaten and taken to a police station, the Jogoo police station, where he was held while the investigation was taking place. But this was not the first time that he was caught stealing or his encounter with the law. In August 2016, he was caught trying to steal again at Nyayo Estate, Nairobi, this time attempting to steal a bicycle. Now, these incidents shocked fans and were widely seen as a huge downfall. Following these serious allegations, Baken disappeared from social media and faded from the public eye. But good news, Baken, Junior and Toti came back together on a TikTok live, and during that chat, Baken mentioned that he was in Dubai, though it's hard to know if he was serious or just joking. Some fans still believe that guy is in Kenya, with one even claiming that he knows the exact place where Baken lives. Anyway, wherever he is, we just hope he's doing okay and not stealing. This next actor became a star before everyone else we've talked about today. But fewer people remember him now. Some don't even remember him at all. Yet he was actually the most successful kid of them all. And here's why. Trevor Gitonga was one of Kenya's biggest child stars a popular name over a decade ago, and he had so many talents. He began acting at just 7 years old, first appearing in a German film around 2007. From there, he featured in big films like Unseen, Unsung and Forgotten, which won a Kalasha Award, and even played the lead role in Leo. On television, he appeared in shows like The No Zone, Changes and Makutano Junction. But one of his biggest gigs, I can say, was hosting Angel's Cafe on Citizen Television, an Emmy Award-winning kids show, which he did for 4 years from the age of 9 to the age of 12. And he wasn't just an actor. Trevor also did music, releasing 2 songs. He shows up, he shows off with Stella Kagendo, and Pedal to the Metal, still with Stella Kagendo. He was the face of big brands too, appearing in commercials for Flavor Milkshake, Umeme Pamoja, CIC Insurance, Eno and Geisha Soap. His influence even went global. At just 11 and 12, this kid was representing Kenyan children at UNICEF and UN conferences, speaking on climate change and water issues. It was such a big deal that he was interviewed by Jeff Koinange. And not everyone or anyone gets that honor.
You're only 16, Trevor. Do you want to do this for life? Do you think this is your calling?
I think this is my calling. I mean, I've wanted to do film for as long as I could remember.
With all this success, Trevor's future looked bright, and many thought he could be the next Lupita Nyong'o or Eddie Gadegi. But then, that never happened. The turning point came when he moved to the US. After that, he became barely active on social media, and even harder to find, because he changed his name from Trevor Gitonga to Taylor Sinclair. And it wasn't just the name that changed, he also changed his gender. Now, in March 2022, Trevor shared a post on Facebook that suggested he was not okay. They say the first step towards recovery is acceptance, so here we go. Hoping it's not too late. Hi, my name is Tay. I'm non-binary. I'm currently homeless and I suffer from schizophrenic, paranoid delusions. I'm all alone and I need help. If you don't know, a non-binary person is someone who does not identify as either male or female. And schizophrenia is a serious mental health condition that affects a person's ability to think, feel, and behave clearly. He also posted these pictures of himself wearing a wig, layers of makeup, and dressing like a female. He also shared videos on his social media that are too explicit for YouTube, but if you have time, you can check for yourself and you'll be shocked. His coming out as non-binary can be seen as a brave move, but for a former child star, it's something that might shock many people, especially in Kenya, where topics like these are not often talked about or accepted. Kenya, they say, is a religious country. Our president has met the Pope. He also visited the Western Wall in Israel just to pray for us, I guess, and was planning to build a 1.2 billion church. Anyway, later, Trevor posted on Facebook asking Kenyans for help and saying that he wasn't okay. And he was planning to come back to Kenya. All he needed was for the Kenyan people to help him raise money for his return ticket. And I'm not so sure if that ever happened. You might not find Trevor Gitonga online because he's not using his real name. But he's still active on social media, especially on X, where he calls himself the Cop School. I hope that's him. And there, he posts random things about whatever's on his mind. Maybe he's still acting or doing other big things. No one really knows. And wherever he or she is, I hope he or she is enjoying her or his life. It's called inclusivity. If this does not make you feel sad, it should. These kids were once the faces we watched and admired. Now, not so much, but that's life, they say. People grow and choose different paths. Music, education, spirituality, or shockingly, becoming women. And honestly, there's nothing you can do about it. Or can you? Thanks for watching this video, and like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, thank you very much for subscribing. And with that said, let's meet in the next video.